Buddy, my name is Christopher Saunders, and this is the Connecticut Sports Talent Show, where we talk all things talents in Connecticut. And I've got a returning guest who's a freshman at Franklin and Pierce, was a senior last year for Seymour, now is a freshman. As she said, started from the bottom, now we're here kind of going back, but she's still killing it. Kenzie Sirowich, I appreciate you coming back on, and just how's everything going?
Everything's great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm blessed to be here.
I appreciate it. It's always good to be able to catch up with former NVL players for both the boys and the girls side. And you and I were just going back and forth about just a whole lot of, various topics amongst the game. But before we even get into that, just, I kind of want to ask you as far as your freshman year. I know before we get to the basketball side, how's school and just how's the translation to college going for you?
From high school to now, it's a lot different, but like it's fun. It's a good different because you're
Mhm.
learning a lot. The school is great. It's a small school. Most people are athletes, so you see the same people around. The classes are good. The school has a really good health science program, and I want to become a PT. So like it's nice that the school set you up for a good future.
Was there any in the beginning going to the fall, was there any early transition, either schoolwork or just the adjustment of, because it's a lot different from a high school to college as far as going classroom, because you have a strict routine, I'm assuming, where it's wake up in
Right.
the morning, probably work out, eat, workout, class, the whole nine. Just talk to me about that a little bit.
I think like the biggest difference was like having multiple workouts a day and having to plan your classes around that
Hmm.
because like in high school you have the set school day and then you have the practice after. In college you have to, if you're an athlete, you have to plan your practices around your school schedule.
Hmm.
And so like talking with coach and having to plan your practices and your class schedule is like the biggest difficulty because you want to make every practice, but like as a student athlete, coaches always say student comes first, but like you want to be at every practice because that's your commitment, but you also have to go to every class. So
Hmm.
it was just tough, but like the coaches like help you out and your advisors are so great. So it works out perfectly for you in the end.
Do you feel like coming into the fall? Because I'm sure I saw the videos on Instagram and such as far as you putting in work when you could, as far as to prepare yourself for coming into as a freshman at Franklin and Pierce. Do you feel like that you prepared yourself best mentally and physically for what is a very stressful freshman year because of everything involved, both on and off the court?
Yeah, I feel like I prepared really well. Obviously, when you get here, it's going to be a lot different than just preparing on your own over the summer. But I feel like mentally and physically is a lot harder here
Hmm.
because in high school you're kind of limited to that one practice a day and then games on certain days. And here, like it's like a real commitment and you have to put everything into it. But I feel like I was prepared and like I continued to prepare throughout the season. And I think one of the best things in college is like you could get in the gym anytime you want to keep preparing and you
Hmm.
have the resources around you to prepare even more mentally and physically. So
Was there anybody early on, either a teammate, maybe it was a teacher that kind of helped ease the transition for you with it being your freshman year at Franklin and Pierce?
um my teammates are amazing. Like they made it so easy to come here. And like especially with practice, they like led you through everything, led you through the classes. Our assistant coach was really helpful too, because
Hmm.
he would text you like, "Oh, you have this today, but if you want to work out, you could get in the gym anytime." And then if we wanted to work out, we could text him and he'd be there to work out. So the
Hmm.
transition was easy because of the people around me.
That's really good. I think, like you were, telling me how so many freshmen are with the program right now. So it's
Right.
almost like, like you said, you have no seniors. So all of you are learning not just the college game, but kind of growing together. And I can only imagine what the next couple years are going to be if everybody stays.
Yeah, I think it's going to be amazing. It's like we're building for the future
Hmm.
and each day we just keep getting better, but it's nice because we're all going through it together and
Hmm.
we'll have each other for more years to come. And a lot of schools have graduate students where they're a freshman and this is their last year playing with that graduate student. for
Mhm.
us, we're building that chemistry for multiple years to come. And I think the chemistry we already have, it's just getting better each day. So
Now, one thing too I brought up, which I thought, I know it's Seymour because of the variety of injuries that you had. Staying on the court was difficult. I know it wasn't your fault, so I'm not trying to make it that way. But I think the fact that you've been able to, and I'm gonna knock on wood somewhere to, I don't want to jinx it. You've appeared, I think there's one other player who's appeared in the same amount of games as you have. I think that's got to be huge for yourself mentally. Like, not only can you can do it at the college level, but you could stay healthy. You've done everything possible to prepare your body. What says you?
definitely knock on wood. But like mentally, it's a great thing because I've been sidelined with two ACL tears in high school. So like being on the court for me is a blessing every day because I know what it's like to not have the game you love.
Mhm.
So mentally being able to play and help my team succeed is the best feeling because I wasn't able to do it for a couple years in the past, and being able to do it now with like a family around me and coaches supporting me is one of the best feelings.
Was there a particular a game early on where, because again, just like how I asked you at the high school level way back when I interviewed you in the past, like what game was it that kind of helped slow down? Because the game always speeds up as you move up. Well, now
Right.
you've moved up to the college ranks. You're a freshman. It's a little bit different than playing in the NBL or outside. Was there a particular game where the game was maybe speeding up on you just a little bit?
I think like during our scrimmages early on, I would do like I was always used to the spin move going left
Hmm.
in high school. And like I had to realize that college defenders guard that every day. So like I have to work on my moves and like the way I pass the ball, the way I defend, it all has to be so much quicker
Hmm.
because everybody else is quicker. So I think those scrimmages, like I realized, wow, basketball is like a such fast pace now. And then it just kind of like working in practice, like speeding everything up, but still being under control
Hmm.
helped me for the regular season. But each game that you're always like, wow, like I could have done this in high school, but now I need to get so much better at it now because every player is great now.
Does
So
it make you wonder that, not to say you didn't work on your weaknesses during the high school level, but obviously if it's working, you keep going with it until the high school level they prove that they can stop it, which not many people could stop you. Do you ever wonder that, you know what, if I did this a little bit more, if I did that, you could have scored so many more points? Does that kind of cross your mind at all?
definitely, because like sometimes when I went back to Seymour during one of our breaks and I
Hmm.
watched like a high school game and I was like, if I played the way I play now, imagine in high school, imagine the difference. And like especially defense, like I feel like my defense has become a lot better from high school. And I
Hmm.
think that's just because high school defense to college defense is so much different.
Hmm.
So I feel like now, like if I were to play in high school, my game would be evolved so much and like everything would just be at a greater level because of how much I learned from this competitiveness in college.
Now you talk about the defense side, and that's huge when it comes to basketball. I was watching Indiana yesterday play, and on the men's side, but they
Right.
were very like they're one of the best defensive teams in college basketball, in my opinion. Obviously, they're very good in the Big Ten. They
Yeah.
held Ohio State very, very well. Coach Woodson has done a great job with them. Um, what defensively have you worked on? Because being able to talk about defense, there's so many attributes to it. What did you work on to help get to where you are right now defensively?
So in high school we played a lot of zone. And like when you play man in high school, you're really like it's kind of like in a 3 point line. So
Hmm.
my biggest thing was like closing out and containing in college. Like every girl's fast, but also every girl could shoot. So you can't give them space to shoot, but you also have to be able to contain them to the point where they can't rip and go by you. So I think like the biggest thing I need to work on is my closeouts and like knowing how to contain.
Hmm.
But like it's really just an aspect of like being in help defense and wanting to win the ball on a defensive level because if you want it, nobody can really take it away from you. But like you want to have to do the little stuff so that you could be successful on the defensive end.
So it's almost like knowing how much space to give and how much not to give, but also know when to kind of maybe push yourself a little bit closer because, again, in all levels, you can't hand check. Defense,
Right.
it's hurt.
Yeah.
It stinks. Let's be honest. I see it at the high school level. I see it in college. You can't offense like in football, which currently the AFC and NFC championship games will be played in a couple hours, if not, I think an hour or so.
Yeah.
Offense is people want to see offense, right? Three
Right.
point, the whole nine for basketball. So not being able to do that, was that difficult at all as far as knowing that line or no?
Yes, definitely. Because like the rule is you can only get one touch and then you have to back off.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's hard because if you want to play so tight on a offensive player as a defender,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get called for fouls. So like it's knowing when to be aggressive, but also knowing when to just move your feet and be in front of the person to use that defense as your advantage.
Now, and I have Kenzie Sirowich here with me, and I appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun being able to talk with you, former Seymour basketball player and doing great things at Franklin and Pierce. As the season's going on, because I mean, what you guys have played already 20 games, right? Maybe give or
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
I mean, the season, I've said this for high school basketball. There's 3 seasons, right? There's before New Year, after New Year's, and then the
Right.
playoffs. And it's crazy how fast the season just flies by.
Yes.
Um, for you, have you been able to kind of reflect on your freshman year? Because again, I know the wins and losses have not been where what you guys would love to have, but this is such a great experience for everybody involved that I would think next year is going to be fantastic. Have you been able to reflect on all what you've done this year?
Uh some days I look back on it and be like, wow, like I'm in a position to help my team at a Division 2 level become
Mm,
successful. And like
mm,
it amazes me because like not many people get to get this opportunity I'm in. And like obviously we want to win more. We're growing to become one of the best teams. And
mhm,
like I think the biggest and best thing we have is we have each other for a while to come. And like sticking together and working together, we will become one of the best teams. And like I look forward to that. And it's just crazy the opportunity I get as a freshman to
mhm.
help my team be successful in years to come.
And not only that, you're able to do something that a lot of freshmen at Division 2, Division 1, even Division 3, where a lot of the great players that go off to play in college, some of them don't have an opportunity to play for a while. Either they have to sit or there's players ahead of them. You have the opportunity where you can only not only just grow with the team, but you're also playing. And
Right.
it's like I can again to look at the rearview mirror of what could be a year, 2 years, 3 years. I can only imagine what it's going to look like for you as far as on the court. What says you?
Yeah. Like this year has been like a learning experience and like it each game, each practice teaches me so much about myself. And
Mhm,
I feel like I'm just scratching the surface with what I could do.
mhm.
And like having this year under my belt and the experience I get from it, I'm excited for what the future brings and like what it's allowed me to do to help the team win. So
Kenzie, I really appreciate you coming on. It's always, great to be able to catch up with former NVL players to see what they're doing at the next level. Before I let you go, with the games that are left, what do you anticipate as far as what people could be, when they come to watch you play for the remainder of the season?
I think they're if people come and watch us play, they're gonna notice we're a tough team and we're just gonna keep trying to get better each day. Each game we're gonna work as hard as we can and leave it all out on the line because you don't know the next time it's gonna be your last game. So I hope everybody just plays with heart and gives it everything they have.
Well, Kenzie, I really appreciate you coming on. A lot of fun as always, and best of luck the rest of this season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was great.
No problem. That'll wrap things up here on the Connecticut Sports Talent Show. So until next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. I'm Jerry. Find them all. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody, and be well.